Namaste, myself Dr. K.K. Chaudhary, Faculty of Education and Methodology, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women University, Jaipur. Today we will discuss about the general theory of the public finance. Before discussing the theory, we have to know about what is the public finance. Public finance is a study of income and expenditure or receipt and payment of governments. It deals the income raised through revenue and expenditure spent on the activities of the community. And the term finance is money resource, that is coin. But public is collected name for individual within an administrative territory and finance. On the other hand, it refers to income and expenditure. Thus, public finance in this manner can be said the science of income and expenditure of the government. Different economists have defined public finance differently. Some of the definitions are given below. According to Professor Dalton, public finance is one of those subjects that lie on the border line between economics and the politics. It is concerned with income and expenditure of public authorities and with the mutual adjustment of one another. The principle of public finance are the general principles which may be laid down with regard to these matters. According to Adam Smith, public finance is an investigation into the nature and principle of the state revenue and expenditure. To sum up, public finance is a subject which study the income and expenditure of the government. In simpler manner, public finance embodies the study of collection of revenue and expenditure in the public interest for the welfare of the country. Now, the nature of the public finance. Nature of public finance implies whether it is a science or art or both. Public finance is a science. Science is a systematic study of any subject which study causal relationship between facts. Public finance is a systematically study relating to revenue and expenditure of the government. It also studies the causal relationship between facts relating to revenue and expenditure of the government. Plan has advanced the following argument in favor of public finance being science. Public finance is not a complete knowledge about human, rather it is concerned with definite and limited field of human knowledge. Public finance is a systematic study of the fact and principles relating to the government revenue and expenditure. Scientific methods are used to study public finance. Principles of public finance are empirical. Now, what are the scope of the public finance? Scope of the public finance may be summarized as public revenue, public expenditure, public debt, financial administration, or economic stabilization. First is the public revenue. Public revenue concentrate on the method of raising public revenue, principle of taxation and its problem. In other words, all kind of income from tax and receipt from public deposits are included in public revenue. It also includes the method of raising fund. It further study the classification of various resources of public revenue into taxes, fees and assessment, etc. Public expenditure. In this part of public finance, we study the principle and problem relating to the expenditure of public funds. This part study the fundamental principles that govern the flow of government funds into various departments. Then third is the public debts. In this section of public finance, we study the problem of raising loan public authority या any government can raise income through loan to meet the shortfall in its traditional income. The loan raised by the government in a particular year is the part of receipt of the public authorities. Fourth is the financial administration. Now come the problem of organization and administration of the financial mechanism of the government. In other words, under financial or fiscal administration, we are concerned with the government machinery which is responsible for performing various functions of the state. Economic stabilization. Nowadays, economic stabilization and growth are the two aspects of the government economic policy which got a significant place in the discussion on the public finance theory. This part describes the various economic policies and other measures of the government to bring about economic stability in the country. Then what is the importance of the public finance? There is a great socio-economic significance of public finance both in developed and developing countries. In developed countries, price stability and full employment are the main economic goal of the public finance. In developing countries, rapid economic development through capital formulation and creation of infrastructure are the important goal of public finance operation. Socially equitable distribution of income, reduction of inequality in income are some important functions of the public finance operations. The importance of public finance can be clarified from the following function. To increase the rate of saving and investment. Most of the people spend their income on consumption. Saving is very low, so the investment is also low. Government can increase the saving and investment. To secure equal distribution of income and wealth, unequal distribution of the income and wealth is the basic problem of underdeveloped countries. Rich are getting richer and richer while the poor are becoming poorer and poorer. So for the equal distribution of income and wealth, there is need of the government. Optimum allocation of resources. Fiscal measures like taxation and public expenditure programs can greatly affect the allocation of resources in various occupations and sectors. Capital formulation and growth. Fiscal policy will be designed in a manner to perform two functions as of expanding investment in public and private enterprises and by diverting resources from socially less desirable to more desirable investment channels. Promoting economic development. The state can play a prominent role in promoting economic development, especially through control and regulation of economic activities. It is fiscal policy which can promote the economic development. Main implementation of planning. Under democratic planning, fiscal policy play crucial role as financial plan is as much important as physical plan, and the implementation of the financial will obviously depend upon the usage of fiscal measures. Infrastructure building. Public finance help to build up well-development physical and institutional infrastructure. And next is that to control inflation. The imbalance between demand for and supply of the real resources may lead to inflation to underdevelopment countries. Inflation ruin the entire economic structure of the national and the process of economic development in these countries come to stand still. So the check inflation budgetary policies can be used by the government. Now the theory of principle of maximum social advantage. One of the important principles of public finance is so-called principle of maximum social advantage, explained by Professor Hugh Dalton. Just like an individual seeks to maximize his satisfaction or welfare by the use of his resources, the state ought to maximize social advantage a benefit from the resources as its command. The principle of maximum social advantage are applied to determine whether the tax or the expenditure has proved to be of the optimum benefit. Hence, principle is called principle of public finance. According to Dalton, this lie at the very root of public finance. He again say, the best system of public finance is that which secure the maximum social advantage from the operation which it conducts. It may be also called principle of maximum social benefit. A.C. Pigou has called it the principle of maximum aggregate welfare. Public expenditure create utility for those people on whom the amount is spent. When the volume of expenditure is small with a slighter increase in it, the additional utility is very high. As the total public expenditure goes on increasing in course of time, the law of diminishing marginal utility operates. People derive less of satisfaction from additional unit of public expenditure as the government spend more and more. That is, after a stage, every increase in public expenditure create less and less benefit for the people. Taxation, on the other hand, imposes burden on the people. So, when the volume of taxation become high, every further increase in the taxation increase the burden of it more and more. People undergo greater sacrifice for every additional unit of taxation. The best policy of the government is to balance both sides of the fiscal operation by comparing the burden of tax and benefit of public expenditure. The state should balance the social burden of taxation and social benefit of public expenditure in order to have maximum social advantage. Attainment of maximum social advantage require both public expenditure and taxation should be carried out up to certain limit and no more. Public expenditure should be utilized among the various uses in an optimum manner. Different sources of taxation should be so taped that aggregate sacrifice entail is the minimum. Assumption of this theory, all tax result in sacrifice and all public expenditure lead to benefit. Public revenue consists of only taxes and there is no other source of income to the government. Government has no surplus or deficit budget but only a balanced budget. Then what are the criticism of the theory of maximum social advantage? Non-measurability of social sacrifice and social benefit. The major drawback of this principle is that it is not possible in actual practice to measure the MSS and MSB involved in the fiscal operation of the state. Non-applicability of the law of equimarginal utility in public expenditure. The law of equimarginal utility may be applicable to private expenditure but certainly not to public expenditure. Neglect non-tax revenue. The principles say that the entire public expenditure is financed by taxation, but in practice, a significant portion of the public expenditure is also financed by other sources like public borrowing, profit from public sector enterprises, imposition of fee, penalty, etc. Then lack of divisibility. The marginal benefit from the public expenditure and marginal sacrifice from taxation can be equated only when public expenditure and taxation are divided into smaller units, but this is not possible practically. Then lack of divisibility. The marginal benefit from the public expenditure and marginal sacrifice from taxation can be equated only when public expenditure and taxation are divided into smaller units, but this is not possible practically. Assumption of static condition. Conditions in an economy are not static and are continuously changing. What might be considered as the point of maximum social advantage under some condition may not be so under some others. Misuse of government funds. The principle of maximum social advantage is based on the assumption that the government funds are utilized in most effective manner to generate marginal social benefit. However, quite often a large share of government fund is misused for unproductive purpose. The government has no surplus or deficit budget, but only balanced budget is an invalid assumption. So, this is all about the general theory of the public finance. Hope you understand the topic, and if you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women University Jaipur. Thank you very much.